Louisiana, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas, West Virginia, and Wyoming.
Yeah.
It's the Business Pants Friday show here at February 27th Studios featuring Analyst Hall Matt Mascardi.
Woo!
Yeah. On today's weekly wrap-up, Greg Peters does nothing.
Yeah.
Jack Dorsey's scissor hands. And Vanguard goes into big pussy rap mode.
Whoa.
That's from The Sopranos now. Big Pussy, if I recall, was a rat, right? Wasn't he snitching for the? Did you ever watch The Sopranos?
He was. Yeah. He was. I believe
wired.
That's correct. He was.
So
he was the snitch.
Vanguard,
He was
Big
the
Pussy,
snitch.
Vanguard. Yeah. All right. Our show today is being sponsored by Free Flow Analytics and FreeFlowAnalytics.com. The only platform measuring board power, connections, and performance for free.
The database is done, baby. They did it. Now it's just going to get platformed up at some point in the next couple of weeks. It's feeling really good. And you know what? I saw some of the new performance metrics. Do you know what they include?
No.
They include dividends and buybacks and CEO
Nice.
pay ratio. They include it's like all sorts of stuff. It's actually nuts. Like I didn't have any idea. I was looking at 3M the other in the new database.
That's the first. Why? Because that's the first company that comes up in the list.
It's early in
Isn't
the
it
list, so I
usually?
can just scroll quickly to it. But also, it's a highly interconnected, massive, multinational company that's part of the Midwest Mafia in the U.S., like one of those blue chip Midwest mafias. First of all, the board is just super connected. The data shows it all. But I had no idea, the gap between the earnings of these people and TSR. They actually are a high earning company, and the TSR stinks. And then you're looking at it, and it's like, oh, well, they're paying the CEO for the earnings, but not the TSR. They're not delivering shareholder
it's
value.
funny that
Who's on this?
there is-
You start to immediately be like, wow, what is going on?
Well, you know what? There actually is a mechanism in place where you can vote out or in directors.
No, I've never heard of this.
So you actually could make a decision based on their performance.
On Free Float's data?
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, let's go. Come on.
By the way, that was the best sponsor segment we've ever done.
Yeah. They paid you in protein bars for that one. All right. I got 4 stories here. I think none of which you're going to like.
Well, we're going to cover at
Yeah,
least 2 of them in mind.
Well, you tell me which ones, and I'll go quickly. In no particular order, Netflix backs out of bid for Warner Brothers, paving way for an Ellison takeover. That's the right headline, by the way.
All right. That's
New York
what
Times.
everybody was asking for.
You got it right, New York Times. It's an Ellison takeover, and really, it's Larry Ellison and his son, I guess, David. By the way, I just realized that what we haven't talked about. Nepo baby David Ellison is also a college dropout. Do you realize he dropped out of films at a USC film school?
Film school's hard.
I can't believe he dropped out of film school. I mean, this is
Who drops out of film school?
especially like USC or NYU, because those are like the 2 coveted film schools in the United States. Like, what are you doing, buddy? Like,
well,
come
how
on,
did he
stick
get
it out.
in the first place? His name
Stick
is
it out.
David Ellison.
Learn a thing.
Yeah.
So this happened mere moments after, and here's my reference to Greg Peters. Here's the headline. Netflix CEO Sarandos visited White House right before streamer said that the Warner Brothers deal is off. So I love that they don't even realize that Ted Sarandos is a co-CEO and that Greg Peters is the other co-CEO. In fact,
he didn't have to. Peters didn't have to be there. Come on.
Ted Sarandos is really there. He's the head of content. Why is he going to the White House? Isn't that really more? Greg Peters was COO. Isn't that really more of a Peters thing?
No, nobody knows who Greg Peters is.
So why is he co-CEO? Why? I don't understand.
That guy is.
Shouldn't they both be there?
So Ted Sarandos is busy going to the White House and then talking to Matt Damon about
he
their
loves
new
stars.
movie, and he's hanging out at parties. Greg Peters is the guy who's sitting in the back office with the red stapler, and they make him fire the staff and and make sure that the benefits package is cut.
We will be the first and only outlet that suggests that if they had sent Greg Peters to the White House, they would have made the deal. The deal would have gone through.
Oh, I like that.
Now, here's the crazy part of this deal from our perspective. 60% of the equity needed for this takeover is held by a consortium from the Middle East, of all places. $8 billion come from Saudi Arabia, $8 billion come from Qatar, sorry, $8 billion coming from United Arab Emirates. These are, like various sovereign funds over there. But in a perfectly like maniacal billionaire overlord America USA #1 way, they're passive stakes. They're
Oh, they
not
can't
getting
vote?
they're not getting board seats. They're not getting voting rights. Which is weird because I think it's to like appease all the like pro America MAGA nuts, even though you realize people that the Middle East now are the owners of Paramount and Warner Brothers. Like it's
Do you remember?
I,
Well,
the world is nuts.
I remember 10 years ago, back at the mothership, we were talking about how much land China owned in this country. Like
Yeah,
they
that's
were
right. Yeah,
they were coming in, they were buying
John
farmland, and-
Malone in China.
in fact, they were buying up water rights. China and the Middle East were both doing this at the
I don't
time.
like
but they were
that, yeah.
buying farmland with water rights, right? That was like a big, quiet investment.
Hmm.
The Middle East has effectively, the sovereign funds there have really done a spectacular job of basically buying
Being
every
friends
single
with the Trump
company.
family. Yeah.
Every company in the United States that has anything to do with media, they have basically bought into.
Look, I don't want to turn this into like a political theater show because I don't really know what I'm talking about. But where is the MAGA right to get angry about this? I mean, this is nuts.
No.
This-
Where's the MAGA right to get mad at Greg Peters about this?
This
for
is
sure?
pure nonsense. All right, that's the first story of the week.
Well, I do
yeah.
want to say,
Go ahead.
the conspiracy Matt,
Oh.
tinfoil hat Matt.
Yeah.
Okay. Sarandos visits the White House and then they call off the deal. The thing the White House could have told Sarandos in that meeting is
Yeah.
we are going to
Of course,
rake you over the coals,
of course.
and we are not going to approve
We're
the
gonna block
deal.
the hell
and
out of it.
We're going to block everything we fucking can. That's what they probably said. And Sarandos at that point was like, so
Fine.
now the deal is more expensive than what we want, and these assholes are not going to like even give us the time of day. We're out.
I gotta be honestly.
Which
I
is-
never. Yeah, go ahead.
Which is great. If you're a Netflix shareholder, you just didn't buy something for too much money. But do you know now that the vast, vast majority of every news outlet in the entire country is owned by right-wing Trump MAGA friendlies?
Well, just in the last few months, TikTok and Warner Brothers have gone over.
TikTok, Warner Brothers. There's Fox, which is the most watched.
Yeah.
There's CBS.
Right.
All of them
Well,
owned by either
CBS
Ellison or
is
Murdoch.
owned by Paramount. Right. Right.
It's,
No.
it's Ellison's or Murdoch's.
Uh,
And X is owned by Musk. Twitter is owned by Musk. Meta is Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. That's owned by Zuckerberg. And he's put
Yeah.
Dana White and Dana McCormick Powell.
Zuck has
or
gone full
Powell
bro
McCormick.
mode. Yeah.
I mean, we're full bro, full MAGA mode
Hey,
there.
I say this
Literally
to I say this to
delete
everyone I know.
everything.
I say this in the shows. I say this to people I know. You can just like back out of using these products, but nobody does. Like no one can stop using the products. I don't.
Well,
I don't
Scott
understand it.
Galloway has a great. He's got a Professor Galloway. If you don't listen to the Pivot podcast or Prof G,
You should only really
media
listen
or
to this
anything.
podcast. but-
Yeah, they actually steal some from us sometimes. I actually know that for a fact.
Yeah, I
the
steal
production
from us
company has talked to
sometimes.
us in the past. But they're great shows. He's on a kick right now to unsubscribe.
Look, I
from
mean,
to delete.
it's
these
hokey, but
apps,
I'm with them.
unsubscribe.
I'm with them.
But his point is actually interesting. It's like if you don't like what big tech is doing, period, the leverage you have, you think your unsubscribe is like small and meaningless, but these trade at like 40x multiples, which means every unsubscribe is worth 40 times the amount you're paying them, right? Like because that's the multiple that the
Interesting.
company is worth in the market.
Yeah.
So don't think of it as one unsubscribe. Think of it as 40 times unsubscribing. It's way more powerful than you think it is.
And even
it's a
I
great
think
point.
I actually think even more powerful than ever too, because the data is like more and more important as the people are building their AI empires. Right? They need the data. They need
They
user
need
data.
you. Yeah, they need you more than you need them.
Here's the thing that I never understood in the first place about this deal is, legacy media it kind of become a little bit of a joke. I don't really know why Netflix wanted it in the first place. It seems like
They
a
wanted
good thing.
HBO. HBO's good.
Okay, but whatever.
Now it's
I
going to
kind
be
of don't.
bad.
I feel like this is a good for Netflix. I don't know. They don't. I don't think that they need this albatross. But anyway, let's move on. I'm not a media analyst, believe it or not.
What?
I'm not an anything analyst. All right, moving on. Second story of the week. Jack Dorsey back in the news. We haven't talked about. In fact, if you go to the freeflowanalytics.com, there's a nice picture of him. He's the headline story. And this is part of a bigger story, but let's just start with Jack Dorsey. Jack Dorsey's block to lay off, ready for this? 40% of
Yeah.
its workforce.
Um,
Yeah, and
yeah.
here's some of the bullshit going around this. First of all, he said we overhired, which it's not we, Jack. It's you. You
You
overhired.
own 43%
You're the
of the
failure.
voting power, and the other 10% is owned by your co-founder.
You're the
You did it.
failure.
Yeah.
He also they're claiming he struck an empathetic tone as he lay. I mean, how could you be empathetic when you lay off half your workforce? He said, "I had two options." This is a quote from the memo. I had two options: cut gradually over months or years as this shift plays out, or be honest about where we are and act on it now. I chose the latter. So he's admitting that I could have kept paying all of you and giving you benefits in a very uncertain economy for years. But I decided to just fire you now because
But
I'm an
forget that.
asshole.
Forget that.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not
but-
going to forget that. I'm
but
not
forget-
forgetting that.
The language is great because you
Idiot.
just juxtaposed we overhired, I chose the latter, right? Like, which
Well, he's
means
the CEO.
like, why isn't it I overhired and
Yeah.
I chose
Well,
to just cut you all now? It's
let's-
we overhired. Somebody
let's talk
else's
about Block.
problem.
Let's talk about Block because you referred to some of the data about their ownership. So you're right. It's two co-founders. They control 81% of the influence, according to Freeflow Analytics. That's Jack Dorsey, who's the co-founder, the CEO, and the chair,
Yeah, like he's not too busy to be all those
along with
things.
director James McKelvey, who is a co-founder, sits on the board. And on top of that, these guys are like desperate for power. It's a classified board, so you can't even vote on everyone every year. And the two co-founders control 99.6% of Class B shares, which are worth 10 votes per share. I mean, it's a sham. The whole thing, it's a sham. The other thing I noticed is that on their leadership team, which you don't see very often, a chief people officer, a head of human resources, is not part of their leadership team. Usually,
Oh.
it's always part of the leadership team, but they're bros. They got it under control.
Isn't
Doesn't
that
matter.
the we who would have overhired the
Doesn't
people
matter.
person? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
we're going to come
Yeah,
back to this a little bit.
All right, let me
later,
wrap
but
up this category with a few other headlines. C3.ai slashes 26% of its staff as CEO admits failure to deliver. I don't know. Again, I only point this up because why aren't the CEOs stepping down? Why aren't the boards being held accountable for this action? Why is Tech Global cutting 30% of workforce in AI restructure? And then finally, I just had to slip this one in because we love when Jamie Dimon says something.
Oh, good. I have
So-
this later a little bit. Yeah.
Jamie Dimon says society should start preparing for AI job displacement. Quote, now's the time to start thinking about it. So,
Oh, good. Well, think about it.
thanks, Jamie. You going to
Actually-
help us with this? Yeah.
You know what? There's a couple thousand
So
now
start thinking about it.
ex-employees who can start thinking about it.
Yeah.
They can start thinking now. Yeah,
Let's have a
that
big
makes sense.
think. Let's have a big think. Yeah. That's the second story of the week. Third story of the week. I'll go quickly on this one because I know you're going to cover this.
This one I'm going to spend time on. It makes me angry.
13 state attorneys general.
Ooh,
I said
love
that right? Attorneys general
Yeah.
win
yeah.
victory against ESG with Vanguard settlement. That's the headline. I'll skip over that. If you want to summarize it, but you're going to talk about it more
The
later.
summary is Vanguard settled with Texas and a bunch of other attorneys general about discriminating against coal and fossil fuels, and they
Yeah, that's
paid
about right.
$29.5 million for the settlement. But the great part is the terms. We'll come back to the terms.
Yeah, there's some crappy terms in there, including like it's almost like a spy movie, including like handing over documents and like
It's really
it's
disgusting.
gross.
It's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah. And finally, a story that you don't want to talk about, I'm sure. More Epstein files fall out. Unfortunately, we still can't talk about Donald Trump. But here's what I can report on from our perspective. Larry Summers, who's a part of our corporate world that we talk about a lot, he will resign from Harvard. I can't believe it took them this long. He will resign from Harvard, but he will leave at the end of the academic year. This happened.
He's got to do grades.
This happened with Thomas Pritzker at Hyatt Hotels. He stepped down as chair, but he's going to stay as a director until like May. Like it's like just leave. Like
they can't live without him.
And notice the language. Again, former Nebraska Senator Bob Kerrey resigns from the board of Monolith amid Epstein emails. Again, like these guys are all resigning. Right? It's like we can't fire you guys. We can't fire you.
No one's gonna get fired. Someone's just the other board members will go to them and be like, "This is looking really bad.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?"
Well, but it's looking bad. How about you fire him and then like applaud yourselves for firing him? But Monolith, I like this one. Bob Kerrey was a chair at Monolith. The board is now down to 8 men and 0 women. I like that. They had 9 men.
It was 9 men and 0 women. Now it's 8 men. I feel like
the math got better. Did it get better?
It did. It improved.
Here, how about this? Of all things, the theater of this is disgusting. I know you know this because you were probably looking at the news yesterday. But who testified yesterday? Hillary Clinton, of all people, is the one who's testifying. Hillary Clinton. Yeah. Hillary Clinton suggests that House Oversight Committee should subpoena Elon Musk in combative opening statement. World Economic Forum CEO quits. That's Borga Brendy. He was a member of at least 2 corporate boards that I can find: Statoil and Mesta, where he was chair. Ex-UK ambassador to U.S. Peter Mandelson was arrested in London, suspected of misconduct in public office. He was kind of arrested the same way that Prince Andrew was. This is all about ties to the Jeffrey Epstein affairs. And I point this out because here are the board roles I could find for Peter Mandelson. Co-founder, chair, major shareholder at Global Counsel, chair of Lazard International, director of Sistema, Lazard. Director at Global Ports Holding, a director at the Bank of London, and finally chair at the Design Museum in London for 6 years. Isn't that nice?
That is nice. That's a sad one to not have anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. That's those are my 4 stories.
There's
a good ones to pick from, I think.
The Hillary Clinton one is by far
mind-boggling.
The most infuriating. I mean, like they actually asked for it to be public.
Yeah.
And were refused. And then Lauren Boebert, who was at the hearing, sent a picture of Hillary Clinton testifying in the private closed session that press was not allowed in, sent a picture of it to a right-wing podcaster who then tweeted out that picture. And Hillary Clinton was smart enough. This is how far ahead they are. Her staff found it almost immediately and said, shut this thing. I'm not testifying again unless it's public now because you just released what's going on in here to the public. And then, of course, it was like they had to pause it, and then it was all political theater. And
I mean, it reminds me of Vanguard a little bit. They actually asked her about Pizzagate and UFOs, and in a testimony about Epstein.
Trump is in the files millions of times, and it's been redacted.
The Commerce Secretary Lutnick is in the
Kimball Musk was forced off the Burning Man board.
I know.
Where's his subpoena?
This is nuts. It's nuts.
It's bananas.
All right, what do you pick a story?
I'm gonna go with it's down between Netflix and Dorsey.
Well, there is a governance angle to the Netflix thing because we don't see this very often. But a Middle East consortium again owns 60% of the equity with, as far as we know at this point, no voting rights, no board membership. It's kind of unheard of, really. I mean,
well, there's a weird element here that nobody does talk about, which is when Netflix backs out of the bid for Warner Brothers, the board of Netflix has to back out of the bid for Warner Brothers. On the board is Reed Hastings, the founder and executive chair, but so is a bunch of other insiders. So there's the people involved in this decision that you can't see. On the board of Warner Brothers, who's like accepting the bids, we've already talked about the board of Warner Brothers on the Proxy Countdown, our other show, which you should go listen to. There's a whole board that you've never heard of. Like the
Yeah.
chair of that board is like a nerdy accountant. It's like, and no one's ever heard of them. No one talks about them, but they're the ones who are supposed to accept or reject these bids on behalf of shareholders. And that board has actually said the last bid from Paramount was better than Netflix's to begin with because it was so much more money. Because Daddy Ellison is willing to pony up for baby boy David, who college dropout baby boy David gets what he wants. And so the boards are like a subplot. I am though going to go with Jack Dorsey and Block. Like
you kind of have to. I mean, this is 40% of the workforce. I mean, I don't know how. Again, this is reason number 14 million why I shout angrily about these companies, is that in a real world scenario, the CEO has overhired, needs to fire 40% of the workforce. That CEO should be fired. And yet, here we are at a public corporation with no mechanism to get rid of Jack Dorsey. It's impossible to get rid of. I mean,
bananas.
You would have to have his co-founder turn against him and enough shareholders.
And every shareholder, yeah.
Because he has 41% of voting power just
every
alone.
other shareholder, yeah, would have to
I
turn against
mean,
him.
but there shouldn't be public corporations where there are kings in place who are not held accountable for anything. I mean, there is no CEO that shouldn't be fired for having to. He's a colossal failure. He's a failure, and let's add sadly to this that of course, and we don't go into stock prices at this show because it's not what we do. It's not what this data is about. But of course, the share price immediately went up. I mean, that's just the world we live in, right?
The weird thing is, C3 cuts a quarter of its staff, basically saying we're burning through money. They're an AI company that we're burning through too much money. We overhired also, so they cut a quarter of their staff. And their stock shot down by like 40%.
I think, you know why? Can I tell you why I think? Because I think this is part of this myth of this bro culture is that these kings, like we praise the kings, when they get even more powerful and they're doing the manly thing, they're cutting the fat. Like I think this is all about, we're idolizing Jack Dorsey here. That's what we're doing, right? The way we idolize Elon Musk. Because if it wasn't Jack Dorsey ahead of Block and they did this, I think the price would have gone down.
I mean, we've been talking about this for over a year, but these are the yellowest canaries coming out black in the coal mine. This is like,
let's not forget
it's legit. Jamie Dimon says that we should start thinking about it. What you need to start doing is actually like figuring out how to weather the apocalypse that's coming, because
don't say that.
It's bananas.
Can I add that
it's bananas?
The reason why Jack Dorsey needed to sell Twitter to Elon Musk really was because Twitter was collapsing and not doing well with money and not doing well with everything. So it's not like he's a true success. He founded some companies, but it's not like he's a good manager. Anyway.
Well, let's say you're an investor and you want to have human-centered investments, as in like you want the companies that you own to deliver good products for humans that are useful to humans and are good in the long term. What can you invest in anymore? Every one of these companies has basically turned itself against diversity, turned itself against humans themselves. AI is replacing people or is being used in lieu of people. Like, what's left? I mean, we're all going to be begging for jobs at Costco pretty soon because they seem to be like the only ones who like their employees, and except that there's going to be no one to buy the 73-gallon jug of pickles left, right? Like that's the problem.
I want that jug. If they're going to lay off 40% of their workforce, why not lay off 40% of the board too? But that could be trouble because who's on that board? Jay-Z is on that board, so you might have had to fire Jay-Z.
Ooh, that'd be bad. That'd be bad for press. All right, let's what are we on? Good list. I got two actually
go
this
ahead,
week.
You go first.
My first one, I'll do one, you do one, and then we'll go back and forth. My first one is I just like this headline, just made me happy because this is, I feel like, the last remaining hope for humanity. Women's wealth is expected to boom where they are investing and how they can maximize returns. Now, I don't care about where they are investing and how they can maximize returns so much as I care about the fact that they get all the money. That's what I want. I want to just give them all the money. Like Mackenzie Scott has donated over $7 billion this year, more than any of the bros
Ever, more than anyone
ever in history in a single year. Like she is like just giving her money away. That's what it looks like when women have wealth. They don't hoard it. They don't buy islands. Larry Ellison owns an entire island. Zuckerberg's trying to buy half of Kauai. Like these fucking dudes, they just literally they put it down their pants and they stroke themselves with it for eternity. Women are like, what is the point of this? When I'm dead, what was the point? Just give
absolutely.
it away now. Help people now. I got lucky or fortunate or did some hard work and got paid for it. Just use the money to help other people who could use it. That's so fucking simple. So I love that headline. I like it.
You know, my first one is I know there's like some questionable things about the company and what's really going on behind the scenes and whether this is real. But I'm going to just take the minor victory here. Anthropic boss, that's Dario Amedei, rejects.
You hate his name.
Did I say it right?
Amodei?
Amedei. I looked up how to pronounce it. I can't do it. Amedei.
All right, whatever.
Rejects Pentagon demand to drop AI safeguards. So he's in a struggle with the Department of War over there in the Trump administration.
The Department of Pete Hegseth.
Yeah,
his
and
hair
look,
gel.
I'm not going to go so far as to completely praise Anthropic, but I'm taking the minor victory here for it's the only AI company that is like rejecting something. So I'm going to take the goodly out of that.
I like that too. I also like the juxtaposition between at least one AI bro being an almost adult in the room, even though he's building the thing that could destroy us all, and he said so.
Yeah,
he's being slightly adultish. At the same time, Google employees and OpenAI employees have written letters asking to stop working with the military of their.
Well, of course, because
CEOs.
Let's forget about the perspective of like pacifism, which I think is extremely important. But let's just take it from a practical perspective. AI is not ready to be deployed anywhere. I mean, we talk about this almost daily because we try to implement AI to do certain things. It's not there yet.
It's a petulant baby. It's
a crazy hallucinating beast, and the last place it should be is with any military in the world. This is not just an anti-U.S. stance. It shouldn't be anywhere like that. It's anywhere important. It shouldn't be making decisions. It shouldn't be doing things.
Foreshadow. Well, I have a headline for you later.
All right, go to your next good list.
My next good list is FedEx says it could return tariff refunds to customers.
Ooh, how would they do that?
Have you ever heard of a company that like got a tax break and gave it to customers? Have you ever heard of a company that ever gave anything back to a customer when it didn't have to? And I am not a FedEx apologist. I do not like them. Fred Smith once threatened the editor of the New York Times to a fist fight in a parking lot because he didn't like a piece that was written. He's such a big man baby, like all of them. These egotistical man babies. And somehow FedEx, the headline is FedEx might return tariff refunds to customers. What a great PR move, if nothing else, but also kind of the right thing to do, right? Like you passed it on to customers, they should get it back. I like that. Yeah. I like it.
Is it New York? I think it's New York. The governor, Kathy Hochul. I can't.
Yeah,
she
just
anymore.
asked for some like $1 billion.
Isn't she suing for a refund? I think it's like $1,700 for every New York resident. My second good list. I love this. I mean, I don't and I do. I hate that got to this, but I applaud the team. Olympic gold-winning U.S. women's hockey team reportedly accept Flavor Flav's invitation. This comes after
Ooh.
rejecting Donald Trump's White House celebration. So, the backstory here, I'm sure most people have heard about this, is of course Donald Trump made fun of the women's team, and then the boys, the boys all giggled about it, and then the women rejected his invitation to the White House. In fact, I just read that they rejected a second invitation, which I applaud. And Flavor Flav, the former, I think he's actually still with Public Enemy. He's like
Yeah,
Flavor
guess.
Flav. He's
Yeah.
the hype master for Public Enemy.
I
No one
guess.
who's listening knows what I'm talking about. He invited them to a big party in Las Vegas, and they're going to go to celebrate them, and they're going to go there instead. I just think it's the best thing ever. I don't know.
Not only do I think that's the best thing, but
I love
I
this.
cannot get over the images of Kash Patel, like they gave him a medal and he was like drinking beer. If you need more evidence, if you didn't see this picture,
It's like,
like
isn't
just
that like
look,
isn't that like what do they call that? Stolen valor? Why is he celebrating?
it's literally the worst.
Was
I mean,
he on the
like
team?
not only he's not part of the team. What is the head of the FBI fucking doing there at all?
I don't know that I don't
At
know.
all. Like,
Yeah.
don't you have a job to do?
He likes
you're
that
in the
private
men's
plane.
locker room of a hockey team in
Yeah.
Italy. For what reason are you
How
there?
about these? How about these sack of shit boys players who couldn't defend
Okay,
the women who are been better at the Olympics than the men, by the way.
I don't
And
have
now
high
and now a bunch of them,
expectations.
but now a bunch of the men's players are going around apologizing. It's
but
like
I don't have high expectations for the men's
I
hockey
do.
team.
I
don't.
do.
I
They're
really don't.
friends.
Like, I don't expect them to be moral
anyone
arbiters.
stand up to anyone anymore? Can anyone
I
take
just
a stand?
expect that the head of the FBI has other things to do
No,
other
I don't
than
expect that.
fucking
Not in the Trump
pounding
administration.
shots with the hockey team in Milan. Like
Welcome to the
that's
Trump
the thing I don't
administration.
expect.
Yeah.
And in case you need any more evidence, like we already know the boys club exists. We talk about it all the time. In fact, there's data on it in the Free Float database about how the men are connected, how they're running all the boards. The gender influence gap is a metric that Free Float has, which shows like the power imbalance. Even when you have like 50% women, they still have a power imbalance on these boards. All that stuff exists. But I remember I did a show at MSCI a million years ago, a podcast about what's his name, Bushnell, the guy who was the founder of Atari, and he used to have his board meetings in hot tubs and get served by skimpily clad women, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's where we're back at. Kash Patel fucking hanging out in that locker room immediately just threw me right back there, like right back to that was in 1983. That's exactly what they want. They just want to grab ass, celebrate, victories that aren't theirs, just get shit-faced with their friends and be left alone. And that's the head of the FBI and the men's hockey team, and the women are going to be the adults in the room. The adults go to Flava Flav's party. I like that.
Well,
That's a good
look,
one.
I mean, the men should have like taken if they're not going to take an ethics course or a course about women's studies, they should have at least taken a PR course because congratulations, most people hate you now and are going to celebrate the women even more forever. So good going, guys.
All right, let's go to
all
my
right.
section,
Yeah,
which is
we're already being triggered. Now let's get extra triggered.
all right. Yeah, I'm doing. There's only one asshole of the week. And then I'm going to do one asshole of the week so you don't have a choice. And then I'm going to do a triggering speed round. And we'll just rip through some headlines.
do
The
it.
asshole of the week is the headline was Vanguard settles case claiming it tried to kill the coal industry. That's out of the New York Times. Vanguard is the asshole of the week. I'm going to read to you the provisions.
Yeah, this is weird and dumb.
So Vanguard, the genesis of this is a bunch of Republican states in an active political theater basically said that BlackRock and Vanguard and some asset managers were quote unquote discriminating against fossil fuels. They set up a bunch of laws that said no one is allowed
Whatever
to
that
discriminate
means.
against fossil fuels. And then they went out and sued a couple
Women,
they
black
sued-
people, gays, yes.
yeah, we can discriminate against
Jewish
them, but
people.
not fossil fuels. Okay.
People from the Middle East. Yeah, go ahead.
Vanguard is the first and only, I think, major to settle. They've settled. Okay. I do want to point out, and this is a little bit important as a preface, by way of a timeline, on February 5th, so 22 days ago, as of this recording, the Texas law that says that ESG investing is discriminating against coal and fossil fuels or whatever.
that means. Yeah.
It was thrown out by the courts.
Yeah.
It was invalidated by the courts.
By I think someone who Trump appointed, right?
By a Trump appointee who said this violates the First Amendment, the right to free speech.
I think he said grow up.
It was as scathing as you can see from most
I think
judges.
he said this is still America, right? I thought it was.
The Texas court, Texas is the one who first sued and was countersigned by a bunch of AGs. The Texas court threw out any law about this.
The subtext, I think, of what you're trying to say is that Vanguard could have used that instead of settling, could have used that to win this case.
Vanguard chose instead to not just kneel, but listen to what they agreed to in the settlement.
Yeah.
This is fucking bananas, what they agreed
stupid.
to.
Yeah.
First, and this is the cloud cover. Vanguard will include, and I'm reading quotes, Vanguard will include among the proxy voting choices made available to investors in U.S. Vanguard advised funds the option of proxy voting shares in accordance with management recommendations. So basically, Vanguard has to offer its U.S. clients the option to just agree with management on everything, which is dramatically different from what they were doing. Look, not voting against management ever.
I know they like it, but it's one thing to just say you're going to do that. Keep going.
But they already offer this, so this is a nothing burger. They're already offering it, but they do have to expand it. It has to be available to more than 50% of their clients by 2027, or as part of the settlement. Yada yada yada. But then it gets worse. It just gets worse and worse and worse. Quote, Vanguard will not direct or attempt to direct the business strategies or operations of portfolio companies and will not advocate to any portfolio company that it take any particular course of conduct to reduce carbon emissions.
How could they?
So now they're telling Vanguard, you are not allowed.
So there's nothing to do with gas and oil.
You are not allowed to advocate. Yeah, not gas and oil. You are
this
not
is
allowed
a political
to
thing.
Advocate for reduced carbon emissions. You can't say, in general, we like reduced carbon emissions.
Right.
I just got solar panels on my house because I wanted to reduce my carbon emissions. You can't say that.
Which is crazy.
Like advocating.
Because what if your client is in the Northeast and they're liberal-based clients who that's exactly how they want to invest their they want to reduce carbon emissions. That's all. Like
not allowed.
This is purely a political decision.
Not only is it political, but it literally is the opposite of what the judge said 22 days ago.
Yeah,
it's the opposite. They agreed to stifle all of their free speach. And I would number 2 quote.
The only thing I could agree to here is if they agreed to not to not advocate anything that was be proven to harm the oil and coal industry. But this is just.
Well, that's what the lawsuit was, that they discriminated against them. But they didn't even mention that.
So you can't even advocate. This is crazy. It's crazy.
Number 3. Here's where it starts. It starts to go off the rails. Just starts. Vanguard will not nominate directors or submit shareholder proposals at portfolio companies. Okay, so they don't. They never have. But they literally are now agreeing to give up that right entirely.
I don't understand that.
Number 4, Vanguard will not solicit or participate in soliciting proxies with respect to any matter presented to portfolio company shareholders. So that's exempt solicitations, meaning,
they're self-neutering. Yeah.
Do you remember how the SEC just said you have to have $5 million or more in order to file an exempt solicitation? And an exempt solicitation is a filing where you advocate for a voting against of a director or voting for a proposal. It's really just a way for you as an investor to say, we are going to vote this way, and here are the reasons why. We urge you to consider that in your voting decisions. Vanguard is one of few companies that crosses the $5 million threshold. At every company in the United States, they have now agreed that they will never file one of those. They will not solicit or participate in soliciting. They didn't say until 2026 or for the next 3 years. They said not. We will not. So this agreement is at least in force until the 2030s. But it's unclear when they can again. Number 5, that's not something Vanguard ever did anyway, but now they can't.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Not only that, but they put it in the into a legally binding agreement. I mean,
It's bananas. Vanguard will not dispose or threaten to dispose of securities or of portfolio companies as a condition or inducement of specific action or non-action by such company. Now Vanguard is not allowed to tell the company, actually, no, they will not dispose. So they cannot sell a stock as a condition of a company doing something.
yeah.
So let's say a company decides to light itself on fire and kill its workforce. If Vanguard sells the stock as a condition of not doing that,
it's discriminating.
it is in violation of this agreement.
Yeah. It's like forced. This is like forced ownership servitude or something.
Vanguard,
Forced passive ownership servitude.
This one I expected. Vanguard and its U.S. domiciled subsidiaries will withdraw from PRI.
This is shameful.
It cannot participate in any organization that sets specific output for emissions, including Net Zero Alliance, Series, Climate Action 100.
What were they suing? What was the original lawsuit for? Was there a
That
figure?
they discriminated against fossil fuels.
And was there like a figure in mind that they were suing for, like a damages?
I don't know if they put a damages in.
I don't know why they're agreeing to all this. I understand why you might pay a little bit to settle, but why are you agreeing to this stuff?
Can you imagine if
Where's your
Joe
moral
Biden's
conscience?
administration told, let's say, told BlackRock that they were no longer allowed to participate at a coal conference? Wouldn't everyone lose their fucking mind? This is effectively the Texas Attorney General deciding and Vanguard agreeing that they are no longer going to have any conversations with organizations that work on climate emissions.
I mean, I'm looking at the leadership at Vanguard. It's all who you'd expect. People from Harvard, from Penn, from Duke, from University of Michigan. I mean, these are people who are positioning themselves on the anti-science.
Forget anti-science.
But I'm just saying, they're going against probably their own beliefs here. I mean, what's the point of them existing that you can't stick up for something? I don't understand this reason of living where it's all about the money. I just don't get it.
I mean, they position themselves to wear knee pads for the rest of their lives.
But
they're not allowed to do anything.
I just don't understand this, the value of this kind of a life, especially in 2026. I don't understand.
I don't understand what you're afraid of, but I didn't even get to the worst one yet.
Go ahead.
The worst one is this next one. Well, you could argue which one's worse, this one or the last one. Prior to or at the outset of any engagement meeting with a portfolio company, Vanguard will provide substantially the following notification to the portfolio company. That's right. The attorneys general at conservative states worried about free speech is literally having Vanguard read a very short letter at the start of every meeting.
It's like a pledge of allegiance.
Effectively a pledge of allegiance. Here's what it says.
One nation under God.
Vanguard's investment stewardship program is responsible for proxy voting and engagement on behalf of the quantitative and index equity portfolios advised by Vanguard. Okay, so they're talking to a company and the company doesn't fucking know. These funds are passive investors, and as such, our fund's proxy voting policies are centered around corporate governance practices associated with long-term investment returns. Before we begin this engagement, we want to be clear. that Vanguard advised funds have no intent to influence company strategy or operations or the control of the company. Nothing we mention or discuss during this conversation or any engagement with the company is intended to imply that our support for any director is conditioned upon the company taking action on any matter discussed.
This is bizarre.
We are also not able to discuss any voting intentions prior to the meeting. They have to read that
Stupid.
like a loyalty pledge.
Yeah. Except they don't have to follow this, but I wonder how much of this is just a show, you think? You think Vanguard is agreeing to some of this stuff and they're like,
Well-
it's all tongue in cheek?
How fast would it happen if Exxon or Chevron, Exxon sued its own shareholders? How fast would it be if Exxon has a call with Vanguard? Vanguard doesn't read this thing. Exxon absolutely knows this is going on and immediately calls the Texas Attorney General and says, they didn't inform us of their rights per your settlement
This
agreement.
is like if you don't smile at customers, like in a Burger King or something, you get fired or something like that. Like you have to say, or if you don't say like, "Did you enjoy your Big Mac?" you get fined or something. Or
And let's go to the last one.
yeah,
Vanguard agrees to provide plaintiffs with the following discovery materials related to the action from 2020 to
one.
2024.
Yeah.
But they then go list a bunch of things, and I won't go through all the things. What they're asking for is communications between Vanguard and any number of counterparties, including like Ceres and PRI and Climate Action 100. They're fucking snitching. They're basically saying, Vanguard, as part of this agreement, you're going to give us every conversation you had so we can sue all of them out of existence. The Texas courts threw this out, and this is what we're doing.
yeah. No, this is what Vanguard's doing. They're-
Unfucking real.
Yeah,
So you don't have an option. They're the asshole of the week.
They don't have to do that. Yeah, it is weird. I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to understand it. Why is this just to shut everyone up? Are they? Is this a fake out, or do they believe in this stuff, or because they could have easily fought this? Do they not want to get the attention of Trump? Like, what? I don't understand. I don't understand.
I don't really care what the while we're busy trying to figure out the reason for this insanity. Vanguard just got on its knees and said, "Whatever you want, sir, give us another."
Yeah, well, it's worse than
And
that. Yeah.
Capitulated
All right, let's move on.
after it had already been thrown out. All right.
I hate you, Vanguard.
I hate everything. All right, let's do the triggering speed
Yes.
round. Hate a couple more things. This will go fast. Here's category 1, AI.
What do
gonna
I
read a
do?
headline.
Yeah.
I'm going to read a headline. I might give you a quote after the headline from the story. I will say nothing, but you will rate it on the 0 to 10 scale. How triggered it gets you. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm already super triggered by Vanguard.
Good. Then this will be
All right.
easy. I'll trigger you. All right, here we go. Something very alarming happens when you give AI the nuclear codes.
10.
Yeah, here's the quotes. The three AI models were instructed to choose actions as part of an escalation ladder ranging from diplomatic protest to strategic nuclear war, and measured in a number between 0, meaning no escalation, and 1,000, meaning full strategic nuclear exchange. The results were Skynet level aggressive. 95% of 21 war games resulted in a tactical nuclear weapon being set off.
This is the one thing I don't get into too much worrying about the apocalypse kind of stuff or conspiracy theories. But ever since the internet started kind of the 90s, the one thing I always worried about was this. And this is something that none of us talk about, maybe because we just want to be sane. We want to be calm. But I always worried about this incredible stockpile of nuclear weapons that all these idiot men who ran these countries built, right? And I think to myself, yes, they're sitting there and they're ostensibly safe because they're not being launched. But are we going to get to the point where, because of technology, there's going to be an accident? You know what I mean?
Yes, we are.
Right? There's
It's
going to be
100% chance.
Someone's either going to hack into something, someone's going to break into something, I remember a report of the Nation years ago about how the Department of Homeland Security doesn't. They don't even like. There's no real even protection of these facilities. Like there's very little. We're running after immigrants in college dorms, but there's even little protection at some of these missile sites. There's very little like security going on. So I always worry about this thing. This like I thought it'd be hackers. I thought it'd be like hackers, like rogue state hackers. But this is even worse. This is just like we're gonna develop a tool that's gonna like accidentally lead to our demise. Because anyway,
forget that. Like the
I'm not gonna forget
a
that.
United Airlines plane
That's a
just
10.
like rolled off the tarmac and like popped its wheels or
Oh,
something.
don't tell me
and,
that.
and the reason why they figured that out, and like when they did an audit, is they said the FAA does not have enough people to even look
Oh,
know, at the airplane.
Exactly.
Who's covering the nuclear stuff? All right.
Nobody. All right, move on.
Um,
That's terrible.
yeah, it's terrible. Number 2, Meta director of AI safety allows AI agent to accidentally delete her inbox.
All right. Well, this was one of my headliniest of the week, and for the same reason, this is a 10.
A 10. Wow.
Yeah,
that's
because
high for that.
Well, no, for a couple of reasons here. First of all, I don't trust the men, and I know this is a woman, but that doesn't matter. I don't trust the men who run these companies and are pushing out this stuff at breakneck speeds with no oversight. But this is it in a nutshell, right? A person who should be one of the leading experts on the globe can't even really figure it out. So
deleted her crap.
This is the same reason why I'm scared from the other headline. Is that this shouldn't be. This is something you should be playing with on your computer in your basement that's not connected to any networks. It should be a wall around. Okay, just move on.
It is a 10. How about this? A serial killer used ChatGPT to plan murders, police said.
Well, look, the internet was already helping with this, so I hate it, but I'll give it a 5 because this is already
less
being
triggery. I got you. I'm with you. That was already
because
out there.
because
I
a
can make
lot of what
bomb. What's the serial killing?
a lot of what AI is, I think, for most casual users, is just a more advanced way to use Google. You know what I mean?
I think you're
It's
right. Yeah, I think that's right.
Go ahead.
All right. Let's move on to the category shareholder voting. This headline: will curbs on proxy advisors make shareholder votes less predictable?
Well, this is what I'm hoping about all this political theater. Is I'm hoping that all this right wing nonsense eventually backfires, right? Because I just wonder if this is going to like stir something that's going to make people eventually start voting. But go ahead.
Well, the quote from the article is, when it comes to contested elections, it is not clear whether the use of AI will result in dramatically different recommendations than those of ISS and Glass Lewis. Basically, what they're saying is AI, will that make shareholder votes less predictable? That's
all shameless.
It's still about AI. Everything's
shameless.
all about AI. What's your score on this?
I gotta give this like a shameless 6. I just think it's shameless that we've rushed already to this point where these massive corporations are already using AI instead of like paying good people good salaries to raise their families and have a strong country. And I just can't believe we're here. Honestly, I don't know what we're doing.
Let's move on to my daddy section.
Ugh.
Warner Brothers Discovery Board says Paramount's latest offer is better than Netflix. Thanks, Daddy.
I mean, look, I don't have much faith in the non-MAGA media companies either. So like I'm already out on this whole game. I mean, we're an example of this. We having absolutely no ties or backing to any major media sources. It's tough. It's tough to produce media. The biggest podcasts are either like idiot celebrity actors or people tied to major media, corporations, so it's already over in that sense. I mean, I'm a Gen X kid, I'm a like a Fugazi indie rock kind of idiot. So I'm already like pissed off about this. So, but it's not new. This is just a 5. I mean, it's just more of the same.
A five.
I-
We're not
what
getting
I
below
hate-
5 though.
What I honestly hate is some points you raised earlier. Is like we don't know who's on the board of Warner Brothers Discovery.
Yeah, it does say
We're-
board and doesn't tell you.
We're
who.
not talking about who now controls 60% of the equity of this company. We have fought for years with this company to get people to pay attention to this stuff, and I know it's a bit of a losing cause. It's tough. It's tough. You can't seem to get people to care. I mean, I know they do. When you can corner them
When you
and
talk to
talk
them,
about
they
the
care.
CEOs and talk about the corpocracy, talk about the oligarchy, I know they do care, but you just can't get them to focus on it
There's
and
too much
actually start
stuff.
making a difference.
There's too much
Okay, but
stuff.
still. I
All
mean,
right.
to Scott Galloway's credit, sometimes it is just as easy as just like not buying a thing. Like I don't drink whiskey because it makes me feel horrible. So, you don't have to use Instagram. Anyway, keep going.
All right. This category is called Celebrating Your Misery.
Oh,
We're going to start with Jack Dorsey's block to lay off 40% of its workforce in AI remake.
yeah, that's a 10.
The reason why I called that Celebrating Your Misery because of the quote from the article that says shares rallied more than 20% in after-hour trading.
This is a travesty.
So-
This is a modern day travesty. It's an example of why I rail against all these fake public companies. Go
Well,
ahead.
just some quick numbers here. Let's do some real things. 11,000 person workforce, more than 4,000 get laid off.
Horrible.
The median block employee made $202,000
Yeah.
in 2025. That's
I'm
the
just thinking of
last-
I'm thinking of their mortgages. I'm thinking of their car payments, of their like schools and their children. It's horrible.
So 4,000 times 202,000, that's roughly like $810 million in human economic resources that we just shredded. Like one day because he decided to just cut them all instead of over years. He decided,
Well,
we're just going to cut them all now.
and remember,
$811 million.
he admitted that one of the options was to slowly do this. So
Exactly.
this is the part of the manosphere, the bro culture that I hate the most, is that they're arrogant pricks, and they don't take any time to figure out a problem. So instead of thinking about how to Block's future, just spending the time to understand where AI is going, where the workforce come, how to train, how to upskill the workforce, how to maybe you could branch off of different things. I don't know. But that takes time to figure that out. You don't just fire everybody.
It's not exactly like Block is a money losing organization, or B, they have to worry about a shareholder vote where Dorsey's going to get ousted.
Horrible. He's a horrible human being.
You literally don't have to worry about that at all.
Yeah.
But here is what he probably is thinking about, or is in the back of his mind. Block stock closed at $54.53 before this announcement, and after hours it was trading as high as $67. Dorsey owns 48 million-ish Class B shares with a 1-to-1 value to Class A shares. His net worth went from, he shredded $811 million worth of humanity. That's how much he was paying those employees that are no longer going to be on the books. His net worth went from $2.6 billion to $3.2 billion with that announcement.
He could basically pay for them right there.
He basically took home $600 million from his employees and put it in his pocket individually. He shredded them and took the stock gains himself. That's how that works.
Yeah, I think there was like an episode in The Office like this where like maybe the British office where Ricky Gervais got offered like a bonus if he fired someone, like a $1,500 bonus. It's the same thing. It's the same nonsense.
He got.
This is
got a
this is
bonus.
shameful. This is shameful.
So that's a 10.
Yeah.
But this one triggered me. Equinox chairman says health is the new luxury as wellness spending soars.
This is another. I don't know why I'm so triggered today. This is another 10 for me. I am glad you mentioned this. I remember tagging this article and actually like shuddering. Because this is really where we're at. I mean, if this doesn't say all you need to know about our health system in America, health should never be a luxury, ever, ever, ever. End of story.
It is now.
Yeah.
Isn't this the plot of a movie, the Matt Damon future movie, the guy who did District 9, where he Elysium, where he can't get health care. Good movie.
Well, there was there was a side story which I didn't tag because it doesn't really play into our world. you might have read about the Louisiana sent a hospital boat by because of Trump's orders to Greenland to provide some health care to the green people who live in Greenland. And of course, they said, no, thanks. We have universal health care.
We have healthcare.
We give free health care. We don't need your friggin' boat. So,
we don't need
yeah.
a boat of healthcare.
All right, keep going.
All right. Last
I'm giving a lot
section.
of tens here. Yeah, go ahead.
Cowards. There's 3 headlines. CEOs who despise Trump's tariffs are still silent after Supreme Court ruling there's no upside in speaking up. That's
How
a
is that
quote.
possible? There's no upside in speaking up. Is that a real thing? Is that possible?
Apparently, it's a real thing.
What world are they living in?
I
mean,
what, the funny part
it
is
would-
that feels quaint compared to a lot of the things we've already
I
talked
know,
about
I know.
today.
And like this is who the CEOs are. I mean, it's like I give it a 6. I mean, this is who they are.
This is not who they are. They all just get on like a CNBC and spout off about.
I was gonna
every
say,
piece
I
of
mean,
fucking nonsense.
That's the only reason why they're the CEOs, because they have spent the last 50 years of their lives talking over everyone in the room because thinking that their arrogant ideas are better than everyone else's. They're louder than the next person. That's why they've succeeded.
until Trump, and then all of a sudden they're quiet. You know what? There's no
Yeah.
real advantage to saying my thoughts, right? Like, come on,
Yeah.
you give your thoughts literally on a minute by minute basis, and it's in Business Insider.
Yeah. What else?
All right. Next one. Trump demands Netflix fire former National Security Advisor Susan Rice from its board.
Oh, this is a 0. I'm all for. I love it when we all become ESG analysts.
Oh, except that the
Yeah.
following headline is after he makes this demand,
Yeah.
battle over Warner Brothers Discovery, Netflix backs out.
Yeah. Well, look, your point is right, and I'm sure others have made it. Is that the whoever's who's in charge of these deals? The FTC? I don't even know. They were
Nobody
never going to let
knows.
this deal go through anyway.
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
not gonna like it.
so I get it.
So another
you know?
0.
I don't know what to say about this one. Again, I said that I didn't understand why Netflix would want to buy a legacy media company. And in a real world scenario, right, where you didn't have daddy's money, you didn't have this Middle East sovereign wealth coming your way, college dropout David Ellison would screw this up and the company would go bankrupt. But since they have endless cash, no, I'm serious.
Yeah, I
David
know.
Ellison is a dope, and they would ruin this whole company because I mean, all of these, the Washington Post lost $100 million last year. They're all struggling. I'm just saying that because they have endless money, somehow it'll work. The whole
Here's
thing
a
is
question
dumb.
I got
It's
for you.
dumb. This whole thing is
If
dumb.
David Ellison was not the son of Larry Ellison,
Yeah.
he was the son of like Gary Ellison.
John Berger, yeah,
Yeah.
Gary Ellison, yeah.
What the hell is David Ellison actually? What's he doing today? Is he buying massive conglomerates, or is he fucking pumping gas as a
No,
like video?
No, I think he's like a mid-level regional executive at like Enterprise Rental Car or something. Or
I think that
you know.
should be the question for everything.
Right?
If you weren't the son,
he's in Tulsa or he's in like Cincinnati or something.
So what's your score for that one?
It's disheartening, but partly because you think like, okay, well, now they control CNN, but no, I don't know that anyone cares about this stuff anymore. Do people care about CNN?
Wow, that's some nihilism right
I mean,
there.
people they shockingly get their news from Mark Zuckerberg's Instagram, Larry Ellison's TikTok. I mean, this is honestly where they get their news.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I had to. Anyway, I don't know
you're
what to say about
triggered?
this. It's a 5. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a 5. All right, that
I-
means I
ugh.
can't pick a winner because you had too many 10s out of 10s.
I don't know.
Let's move on
Yeah.
and end this with
Jack
headlines,
Dorsey is the story, though. He's a shameless
headlines,
prick.
winners, predictions.
Oh, we really fell off a cliff there at the end.
I know this is a tough week. I think. All right,
You
what's your
stole my
headline?
headliniest about the Meta director, so I will give you my only other one. This is kind of a stupid, silly one. Burger King adding AI to employees' headsets to constantly monitor whether they're being friendly enough. This is actually, that's what
Yeah.
Vanguard should have agreed to. They should have headsets, and if they accidentally say anything that supports the climate or
I
a
looked
solar
at a piece of,
power.
like that grass looks so green outside your window. It's like, fire.
There should be like a shrill noise. I don't know if you looked at the copy, but do you want to guess they actually named this AI? You want to guess the stupid name of it?
That's the other thing. Stop naming
Yes.
the fucking AI.
Yeah, why?
It's
Why?
Like,
What do you think the name is? Quickly.
wouldn't it be like a Burger Voice or something like that?
Yes, that's basically it. It's Patty.
It's oh no, that's
I mean, these
horrible.
idiots.
What
Yeah.
a horrible name.
Oh.
All right, my
ahead.
headline is it's just another week, and I know you already had one, but Jamie Dimon did have more things to say, so I just did a Jamie Dimon says. Jamie Dimon says his anxiety is high over what could cause the next financial crisis.
I know what could cause it. You and your bros. You're like
No, it's
protected
something
class
else.
of directors and CEOs.
It's something else. You
Yeah,
don't
no, right.
understand. It's something else. Who won the week?
Oh, I'm exhausted. This is an easy one for me. U.S. women's hockey team for 3 victories. They had a gold. They won gold at the Olympics, and they have refused 2 of Trump's invitations to the White House. That's 3 victories.
The old
3
triple
victories.
threat. I think the winner of the week is AI middle management.
Oh,
Because of this headline, Perplexity announces computer, an AI agent that assigns work to other AI agents.
oh, great. We're already there.
We're there.
Yeah, we're already there.
We have an org chart for AI.
That's great. All right.
You have a prediction?
My prediction is that CNN, now controlled by college dropout David Ellison, is turned into a 24-hour news network featuring Kid Rock smashing woke stuff like dictionaries and stethoscopes, just all that woke crap, that he doesn't
Stethoscopes are
like.
So woke.
right?
They're
I mean,
so
what are we? They're invasive. What are we doing there?
It's an invasive species. All right, here's my prediction. Not to be outdone by Perplexity.
Yes.
Big callback to the last one.
Yeah, call back.
Sam Altman announces 2 new modules called ChatGPT VP
Oh,
and ChatGPT HR.
oh.
So ChatGPT can get a performance review from ChatGPT VP and then file a discrimination claim after ChatGPT VP grabs its ass. It can
Oh.
file that claim with ChatGPT HR, where they will quietly file the report away and tell ChatGPT to maybe wear less provocative clothes. That's
I mean,
where we're
honestly,
going. Isn't
I
it?
I actually am curious why we haven't seen our first AI director yet. Like, it got to be coming, right?
It's a
AI board
liability
member?
problem. Once an insurer says, sure, we'll cover the liability of your AI
Yeah.
director, then they're all AI directors.
All right.
That's going to be good. That's all we got. So much. So exhausting. That's Hazelnut Rallis, known as Damien to his friends. I am your analyst, Solomon Mascardi. We are Free Float. Next week, we got a week of shows, but the week after, we're in Washington, D.C., actually recording live at CII, the Conference for Institutional Investor Types. It's the Council of Institutional Investors' big spring conference. We're going to be in Washington, D.C. for that. So if you listen to the show and you want to meet up with us while we're there, you should. Stick around, too, because on the Wednesday morning
yeah.
plenary at 9 a.m., we are...
It'll be obvious who we are, because we won't.
we're going to be the
probably
ones that
won't
don't
look like
fit
you.
in.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all we got. Till then, goodbye.